Like, you are just so cool.
Well, thank you.
Listen, listeners, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read her bio to you guys so you can kind of get on the same page with me if you are not already on the same page. So, Jamaican-born Fiona Zedde currently lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She is the author of several novellas and novels of lesbian love and desire, including the Lambda Literary Award finalists Bliss and Every Dark Desire. Her novel Dangerous Pleasures was winner of the About.com Reader's Choice Award for Best Lesbian Novel or Memoir of 2012. Her new novel Desire at Dawn, featuring the vampires from Every Dark Desire, is available now. Her short fiction has appeared in various anthologies, including the, I don't even know if I can pronounce this. Fiona, you want to help me with that?
Let's see, what are you reading?
The Cleis Press Best Lesbian Erotica Series, Wicked? Okay.
Wicked.
Okay. So, Iridescence, Sensuous Shades of Lesbian, Erotica, and Fist of the Spider Woman. Writing under the name Fiona Lewis, she has also published a novel of young adult fiction called Dreaming in Color with Satchel Press. You guys can find out more about her. I want you guys, if you are on your laptop, to kind of open up another tab. You know, I believe in supporting my people. So I want you guys to go to www.fionazedde.com, and I'm going to spell that for you. That's F as in Frank, I as in Indigo, N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, Z as in Zebra, E as in Edward, D as in Dog, D as in Dog, E as in Edward.com. Okay? Okay. So listen up. You guys, listen up. I'm sorry about that. Hold on. These down. This how ghetto we are. I can hear this in my ears. Turn it up.
I am here. I wonder what's going on.
Okay, so I guess we're supposed to have this behind our heads. I don't know what's going on here. I'm telling y'all, I don't even know what's going on here. Listen, I have been wanting to talk to you for so long. I have been following you and just checking you out, seeing what you're doing, and you have literally been doing a lot. How has your life been?
It's been busy, which is good. I like being busy.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't put on the bio that I sent you was I also write under a different name, and I write straight romance, straight erotica under that name. So with that character, I guess you'd say, I write 2 books a year for that publisher. And so, like, with that, and then with the Fiona Zedde stuff, I keep pretty busy, which is nice. It's good to be wanted, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome. So how do you, like, schedule? What makes everything work for you?
What makes everything work? I just have to schedule myself. Like, I have this giant, at-a-glance calendar on my wall, and it is my lifesaver. It shows me exactly which month is packed and what I have to do. I even had this interview on the calendar. So
wow.
I know that I have, 3 months to do this, 1 month to do this, and then I have nothing going on here. And then I know what I have free time to do. So I just really schedule myself and try to treat this as a regular job, quote unquote, and get up early and work from 9 or 10 in the morning until, I get tired or I need food. So just treat it like a regular job and just try to schedule myself and just get stuff done.
Wow. Well, that says a lot about your character, because a lot of people, some people have tried to, like, work from home, and couldn't do it and had to go back into the office. So you being able to have the strength and the discipline to do that is awesome. That's awesome. Let me ask you.
Thank you. I have no choice. I don't like working in an office. I don't like cubicles. I don't like the structure of it. So I either make this work or I either go somewhere where I'm very unhappy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I know what you mean.
Thing that I can arrange for myself.
Right. That's cool. That's determination. I am not going in a cubicle, so I'm going to make this work.
Exactly.
tell us about the different pen names that you have, and why you choose to use them.
Oh, okay. So I have Fiona Zedde, Fiona Lewis, and Lindsay Evans. And Fiona Zedde is my first pen name, if you will. My real name is Fiona Lewis. And so under Fiona Zedde, I write lesbian erotica, lesbian novels, whether they're quote-unquote literary or not. And then under Fiona Lewis, I've written young adult stuff. And then Lindsay Evans, I use that name to write my straight romance for the most part. I might branch off to do some other things under Lindsay Evans later, but for now, that's it. And the reason I use those names is just a shorthand. When someone picks up Fiona Zedde, they know it's going to be lesbian erotica, or a lesbian romance, or a lesbian novel. And when they pick up Fiona Lewis, they know it's going to be a young adult or something of that nature.
Right,
and then
right.
Lindsay Evans, it's going to be straight. It's going to be straight romance or straight erotica or something. So they don't have to worry or decipher.
Picking up the wrong book.
Is she going to write?
I said picking up the wrong book, huh?
Right, exactly. It's like, you see this name, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Right. That's cool.
So it's just to make it easier.
That's cool. So how do you come up with the stories? Like, where do these stories come from?
Oh my gosh. Everywhere. Everywhere. Sometimes I could be just, walking and I overhear something. People call it ear hustling.
Yeah.
I listen and, if it sounds interesting or ridiculous, I write it down and I come back to it later. Just different ideas. When I was traveling this summer, I got this idea for a character. Hopefully I can write that book in the next few months. We'll see what happens. So I got them from everywhere, from traveling, from conversations, from just laying in the bathtub and then my mind wander everywhere. There's no particular formula at all.
Wow.
But I'm just happy that my ideas are not running out anytime soon.
Wow. So who do we have to thank for Fiona Zedde? Who do we have to thank for that?
Let's see. Who? A few people, actually. My second mom here in Atlanta, her name is Cherie. She's always been very supportive of me writing. When I moved here to Atlanta, I was all over the place. I was having fun, I was dating, I was partying. It was a great time. And I was fresh out of college. And I said to her, I'm a writer. And she's like, why aren't you writing then?
Wow.
And so whenever I would just say, I'm a writer, I'm going to maybe finish this one short story and maybe set it off, she's like, stop saying maybe, just do it.
Right.
And finally I listened to her and sent something off, and that was to, I think, that's Lesbian Erotica 2004, 2005, something like that. And then also my mother, my biological mother, she's always been supportive of me just doing whatever I wanted to do as long as I was happy.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
And so, so they've been both very instrumental in helping me to get out there, to believe that I have something to say that people will listen to, and just to let me know that no matter what, they'll be there for me. So,
wow.
For the most part, they're the ones that have lifted me up and carried me along for these past few years.
Awesome. Ooh, that feels good. That feels good. A lot of people don't have that, so that feels good to know. I want to know, what's your favorite genre to write for?
What's my favorite genre to write for? Well, I am a pervert.
Yeah.
So I love to write erotica. I love to read erotica. I love to write erotica. I would one day love to branch out and do some sort of supernatural, paranormal, speculative stuff. But right now, the most of that I've done is my vampire series, which is the Desire series, Every Dark Desire and Desire at Dawn. But I love to read and write about sexuality and how people's sex with either themselves or each other contributes to their lives and creates relationships and even breaks up relationships.
Where does that come from?
I have no idea. I mean, I could, guess. My mom would always read these romance novels when I was little. And they would never be like, oh, her rosebud tasted like milk or whatever. It would be some crazy, undercover, hardcore stuff. And there I am at 10 years old reading this stuff. I was like,
Wow.
find them. I would just sneak and find them, and my
Wow.
mom had no idea. And then just read them, and they would just fire my imagination. Even though I had no idea what that stuff really meant, it was very intriguing, and I wanted to read more of it. And at that time, I wanted to be a writer already, so I wanted to pursue that and whatever that really meant in the real world, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna take a break, but when we come back, we're gonna hear from Fiona. My question to her is, what's her favorite sex scene that she's ever written? We're gonna talk about that when we come right back. So don't go anywhere. This is LGBT Radio Nation here on UrbanNationRadio.com. We'll be right back.
Da 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 da.
To LGBT Radio Nation here on UrbanNationRadio.com. I'm your host, Kaiology Mann. And again, this is LGBT Radio Nation here on UrbanNationRadio.com. I am talking with author Fiona Zedde. I have got her on the line. We are talking, we are chatting it up. But listen, we're going to get back to it because I hope she was, having or thinking about the question that I asked right before the break, because we're going to go ahead and get that question answered. And what I asked her, if you're just joining us, her favorite genre to write is the erotica. She has, I won't say it's a fascination with sex, is would that be wrong?
I mean, that's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
Absolutely. That would not be incorrect.
Okay. Well, I asked her to tell us what was her favorite sex scene that she wrote in one of her novels. So you got one for us?
Well, I wasn't thinking about it during the break, but there are two that come to mind immediately, and I'll go ahead and mention the one that's in Every Dark Desire, the vampire novel.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird scene in that, and the book in general is sort of like vaguely S&M-ish, So there's a scene where this newly turned vampire, she's very aggressive and very unhappy with her situation. And so she's trying to buck against authority, basically, of the vampire clan leader. And so the clan leader takes her down to the basement to teach her a lesson. And so it's this very sexy, really intense scene where she's shackled and the vampire clan leader is intended to really be rough with her, but they end up sort of like rolling around the floor and the dirt. It's kind of intense. And I think people either really, really love it, or they're like, there's a lot going on here.
What kind of feedback have you been getting from it? What was the reception so far?
Oh, it's been great. A lot of people say that their favorite book is Every Dark Desire.
Mm-hmm.
That they love the characters. My main character in that book is Belle, but her lover is Sylvia. And Sylvia is this tall Jamaican woman, very sexy. She's super feminine, but has a lot of masculine characteristics. She's very commanding. She'll tell you what to do and expect you to do it. She's tall. She's just, hot, basically.
Yeah.
and she'll make you drop down to your knees, and she'll, force you to take care of business. And it's not like...
Why you said that real fast, like you just kind of skipped over it real quick. What was that about?
Well, she's not someone that maybe necessarily is someone you want in a for real partnership.
Yeah.
But she's a great fantasy character.
Gotcha.
You be with her, you just let let her take control completely and just be there, and she'll take care of you in all these intense and passionate ways that make you like things you never thought you would enjoy.
Wow. So let me ask you this. So how do you get these ideas? I mean, what's happening? Can we go there?
Of course.
Okay. So what's happening in your life that you're able to just dig deep, or what's happening? How do you come up with these scenes?
You know, it really varies. Like when I wrote Every Dark Desire, it was was I in California in grad school at the time? I think I was in San Diego. And there was nothing really goes on with my life, but I really wanted to push my writing in a different direction. Even though it was still lesbian erotica, I wanted to like push my characters beyond where they've been before, and that was my first time writing vampires. And I figured writing vampires, you have to be, you know, they're not delicate like we are.
Right.
You know, they can like slam into a wall and bounce back, coming for you again. You know what I mean? It's not like it's gonna make you love the road settled at all.
Right.
So it was just wanting to push myself a little bit further and see what my mind could come up with after having written these sort of sweet stories about women being together, and you know, even though they're having orgies or whatever, it's still very sweet.
That's cool though. What do you have like in the future like that you want to do to stretch your writing even further?
Oh my gosh, I have so many different ideas. It's ridiculous. I don't have enough time in the day. I want to do some work that is longer. Like my biggest novel was like 300 pages. I want to do something longer. I want to write more about Jamaica. I want to write something that doesn't necessarily focus on sex. It's sensual, but can delve into the characters themselves without dealing so much with their sexuality, which is really odd coming from me.
Right.
But I do want to see if I can write a whole novel that doesn't really revolve around sex in that way, or even sexual dynamics.
Okay, so like how is it working? I mean, are you close to doing something like that?
I've written 3 books that are sort of like that. Like they're not edited yet or anything. They're all very rough. One of them I'm trying to ship out to agents and see if they'd be interested, but so far they're not generating as much interest as my super sexy novels, which is not surprising, but
right.
It just makes me realize I have to push further to make the relationship or the tension or the conflict more interesting.
Wow.
You know?
You are a writer's writer, boy. Yes. That sounds so good. I just felt that all in the inside. That's cool.
I just love writing. It's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, whatever I write. You know, short stories, novels, you know, sexual stories about life and, you know, relationships and parents. I just really, really love my job.
Wow. I can imagine that. Because I love what I do. Just being able to sit and talk with you and about all these different aspects of life, writing, and whatever it is that you do and how you do it. This is amazing to me. It makes me breathe deep. I don't know if anybody pays attention, but sometimes I just have to just breathe. It's awesome to be able to just talk to people like you. It really is. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to talk about being me.
You are welcome. I noticed something on your covers, and it made me smile, and I noticed it right away. I noticed the different hues on the cover. Can you tell us about that, and is that intentional or what?
In terms of the different skin shades of my models? Or
Yes,
what do you mean?
yes. The dark skin.
I am very intentional about my characters being every one of us, at any rate. Because sometimes I do look out there, whether it's looking on like natural hair laws or out there at actors and actresses, what society at this moment values.
Right.
And I think it's very, very important to show in my own work that everyone is valued, like that, you know, darker skin women and light skin women, like it's important. And people like to see themselves reflected around them, you know, and I feel like too often, you know, we're lifting up lighter skinned people, and not that there's anything wrong with it at all, but we should all everyone should get their moment to shine, and we shouldn't always just have a certain hue on covers. It should be everyone, because we're not all that huge. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's so true.
I just think it's very important to have that.
Well, I commend you, and when I saw it, I was like, yes, and immediately I saw it. I could see all the covers, and I'm like, yes. I said, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. So I thank you. I thank you for all my dark skinned sisters out there. We thank you. We appreciate you.
Oh, well, thank you.
We can see ourselves.
And all that.
What'd you say?
And thank you for picking up the book and for noticing and for even commenting on it. I think that's really important to me.
Well, hey, it had to be. I mean, it was so. To me, it was noticeable, and I'm quite sure other people have seen it as well. But I was like just in awe because I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. So I was like, yeah, she didn't do anything that was not right, because that's right. That's right. That's right. Which book are you like most proud of?
Which book am I most proud of? I am most proud of my first, because once you get the first book out there,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it easier to get the others out too.
Right.
So I was just very happy and proud that I was able to break that barrier with that first book and just get out there, break the dam, and then have the other books have a chance to rush through after that. Because there's nothing like your first in so many ways,
Right, that's true. That first baby boy, sometimes hard to birth.
Exactly. You go through so much. You go through a lot, and then when it finally happens, you're like, oh, yes.
Right. And you've got how many now?
If I count novels and novellas and, oh my gosh, I don't even know, like last time I was counting 16.
Wow.
But, I have a book that came out just a couple weeks ago, actually, under Lindsay Evans. And I have another Lindsay Evans book coming out in September. So I feel like I may be at 18, but I'm not really sure. I haven't counted in a while.
Wow. So how do you do? Like, you write a book and then you just start another book? What's like your process in between?
Oh, actually, that's kind of what it is. Like, I write a book and then I do a first draft, then I take a week off usually, and I do my second draft. And then, depending on how it looks, I'll either do a third draft or I'll turn it in. And then maybe I'll take off a week to write a short story or just chill, and then start to do another book immediately. Because, again, it's work.
Wow.
I make my living from this, so I can't just take off a whole, month or anything like that. So, yeah,
Wow.
book after book, which is great for me.
Wow. You guys, I'm telling you, basically what she is saying, that she is so disciplined. Wow. I need for you to kind of tell us real quick, what would you say to some up and coming like author or writer, or somebody want to be a blogger? What advice could you give to them business wise about writing?
Business wise?
Yeah.
There's two things I would say. The first thing is just to do it. I meet a lot of people who are saying, I want to be a writer, I want to finish my book, but I can't, or I have things. Just, whatever way you can make it happen, write on your lunch hour. Take an hour before work, wake up earlier. Skip going out with the girls on a Saturday night and go out on a Friday night instead and write at that time. Just, however you can get the work done, whether it's a novel, getting your blog started, whatever it is, just make the time and do it. The second thing, which is really important for entrepreneurs or however you want to label us or artists, is make time for marketing.
Right.
Marketing is almost half your job. And even though it's the most, for me anyway, unpleasant part of my job, it's also necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting around writing books all day, but if no one knows I'm writing these books, then there's no point in me writing them in a way, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, I just did no point, because I enjoy it, but it's still, people wouldn't get to see what you've worked so hard on. So marketing is very, very important. It's important to take a day or however you want to put it up in your week to just focus on marketing and getting the word of your blog or your book out there. Even if you're just writing it now, just getting the momentum going and getting people interested in the project before it finally hits.
Right. That's some good advice. I hope everybody was really listening to that. We are going to take another quick break. This is your host, Kaiology Mann, and this is LGBT Radio Nation here on urbannationradio.com. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And we are back. This is LGBT Radio Nation here on urbannationradio.com. I am your host, Kaiology Man, and I am talking with Fiona Zedde. I am talking with her live. Thank you, Fiona, for coming in. Thank you for staying and hanging out with us this time. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that very much.
You and I were talking a little bit, and I was telling her basically that I've been kind of like following her since 2011. And in 2011, December 2011, I wrote my first novel was published, and I was looking for people to review my book. So I happened to come across Sisters on the Shelf. And I had them to review the book, and while waiting on them to like review my book, I had been kind of like looking at their website, checking them out, and that's Sisters on the Shelf, and it's spelled SISTAHS, Sisters on the Shelf, and they're like on Twitter at SOTS. But anyway, I was looking at their website and came across Fiona and just kind of been like hanging out with her this time, just kind of checking in, not really stalking her. So, like I was breathing on her neck, if she were to turn around, I'd be gone, kind of thing. Not like that.
That was very strange, yeah.
Not like that, I promise. It wasn't like that. I was just checking you out, just seeing what was happening, what was going on, You do, I think I was either watching a video of you, and you were talking about doing research for your books. Tell us how extensive you are about researching and being clear on what it looks like in your books.
How intensive research do I do?
Yes.
It just depends on if I already know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm working on a novel that's set in Tanzania and the surrounding area in like the 1300s, 1400s.
Mm.
And so I know nothing about any part of Africa.
Right.
Nothing about the culture, any of the cultures, nothing about the clothing. So I'm doing a lot of research for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's amazing to find out that, there are these buildings and all these like architectural wonders on the continent that's not common knowledge.
Right.
Things that Black folks have done, centuries ago that, that no one knows about. So I love doing the research and I love finding out all this information, but it also makes me sad that so much of our history is lost.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to be, deliberately trying to find it to have access to it.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And just as a people, that affects us so much. What do you think about, and I don't know if you've experienced it or not, but have you ever felt like you've had to choose between being Black and being a lesbian?
Not necessarily. And the reason is because I've consciously, since leaving college, consciously surrounded myself with Black queer people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't necessarily circulate in Black straight environments.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never have to confront that at all. I think if I were more maybe in the activist community or other communities where you have to partner with or deal with Black straight folks,
mm-hmm.
that would be an issue for me, but I've never had to choose, and hopefully, doesn't have to happen, but who knows what the future is going to hold. But yeah, I haven't had to choose at all or had to confront that sort of thing where, you have to be like, are you black or are you gay?
Right. Where
A lot
did
of folks that I know talk about that.
yeah? Where did that come from? Like, was that just your instincts from the jump, just out ripped, just to hold that to be true?
It was sort of accidental, because when I moved to Atlanta, I ended up, I was hooked up with a friend's friend, and I lived in his basement for a while, and he was a black gay male friend.
Mm-hmm.
And hung out with him and his friends for a long time, or for a few months. And then I decided to go to the lesbian bookstore in Atlanta, Carrot. And when I walked in, there was another black woman behind the counter. She's a black lesbian in her 40s, amazing, wonderful. And that sort of set my trajectory of my life and of my queerness, if you will.
Wow.
Because, from the moment I walked into the bookstore, it was like, oh, here's someone who is either me in the future,
Right.
or someone
Right.
who immediately embraced me as a black lesbian woman, and is just, unwittingly, I guess, mentoring me and embracing me in these ways that showed me that, it is possible to be an older black lesbian person and be happy and be thriving and fulfilled and all these different things.
Right.
And then from that moment, I never had to deal with anything other than that. You know what I mean?
Awesome. So you created your own world.
Yeah. And I think you have to. You have to be very, very specific and strategic about what you want to surround yourself with, what kinds of people, and what you want to deal with. You want to deal with like homophobia or not. You want to deal with what you want to be in your bubble. And bubbles can be dangerous too, but sometimes it can be very protective.
Yeah. Wow. That's breathtaking. That's breathtaking. I hope that some people really heard that, because that is so cool. How are you? I mean, are you in a relationship with anybody at this moment?
No, I am not. I am single.
Single. So are you single and just chilling, or single and looking?
Single and just hanging out with, working and enjoying my friends and enjoying being able to travel. Not looking. If something happens, great. But if something doesn't happen, also great.
Right. That's cool. That's cool.
So I'm good.
So why don't you tell us? Like, I think I was listening to another video, because I watched some videos about you and kind of trying to see what some, like, you have tons of people who love you, tons, and your social media is like really hot. How do you keep that up?
Oh my gosh, how do I keep that up? First of all, let me say thank you for saying that tons of folks love me. I wish that were true, but even if that's an impression, thank you for saying that.
It
the
looks
social
like
media for me is, part of it is very organic and natural. Meaning I get up in the morning and I'm like, something happens and I want to share it, and then people just naturally respond, and so I want to communicate with folks and keep that going.
cool.
And that's part of this natural. That most of that happens normally on Facebook and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
The other pieces, I try to be on social media at least once a day for an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it ends up being way more. You know how that goes.
Right. I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm on Facebook 2 hours later.
Exactly. I mean, for me, the biggest thing is Tumblr. I get on Tumblr and I start, and it's so interesting, and it's so, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
There's so many beautiful things to see on there, like pictures of places, pictures of women, all the latest, like, social activist tweets and, reblogs and things. But yeah, I can be on Tumblr for literally hours and not even realize that half my writing day is gone. But then I try to make up for it at the end of the day.
Yeah. So when
I
you
have to go on there at least once a day.
when you get like tired, how do you push through it? Because I know you're pushing through it. Or is it at this point you don't have to anymore? It's just natural.
I'll definitely get exhausted, and sometimes when I say like, I know this happened to me a few months ago when I was like, I am so tired. This book is sucking all of my brains out. And I said that on either Facebook or Twitter or somewhere, and then people were just like, why don't you just take a bath? Why don't you just, put it away for an hour or a day, and then listen to some good music and relax. And I would have never even thought that on my own. I would have just, try to artificially just create what comes next.
Wow.
So sometimes, people out there in social media would just be like, just relax already. And then I think, well, actually, that is possible. I can sit down one day and just be chill, and then come back to it on Thursday. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did you get to where you are? Like, I just want to know, how did you get to be where you are?
I don't even know where I am. Like, honestly, I don't know where I am. I always think I can do more, I can do better. So I'm rarely ever looking back. So I don't know, except to say that with the support of family and friends and people who believed more than I did, that I could get to the point of being able to write my stories and having folks actually like pay money to read them, which was pretty revolutionary for me. But I don't really know. I don't really know how I got there, except by just people's support and people being willing to buy my work, spread my name and my books by word of mouth, and I think that's really it. I mean, I feel like I have this sort of weird amnesia. Whatever happened, I forget it the next like month or minute or whatever. So I really can't say what happened or what necessarily has gotten me to this point. But I do know for sure that without people being willing to support for whatever the reason is, either they identify with my background or with what I'm writing, or even just with the random stuff I say on Facebook, and then all of a sudden decide that they want to retweet or repost. I mean, all of that I think is just people being supportive.
Right, that's cool. How does that feel, just to be loved like that?
Oh, it's wonderful. Sometimes I'm shocked by it, but it feels really great, and I hope everyone knows that it's completely reciprocal. Like, I appreciate so much that people have taken time to read, to respond, to read blogs, to even send me an inbox about whatever it may be. Like, I can't tell them enough that how much I appreciate that and love that.
Wow. I know that, like, in the future there is some major thing that you're wanting to have happen, because you just seem like that type of ambitious person. What legacy will you leave for everybody? What legacy will you leave?
Oh gosh, that's a question. Let's see. I think one of the things I would like to leave is the reality that as a Jamaican person, a queer Jamaican person, you can be out, you can write your truth or sing your truth, whatever it may be as an artist, paint your truth, and be happy. Just, be an example of that. And I guess the other legacy would just be anything is possible. If you think it and you work toward it, it can happen. Maybe not in the way you always imagine, but, thinking it, believing it, and working toward it makes things happen. Absolutely.
Now let me ask you this. Did you always believe that?
Not really. The part of it, too, is for me, things happened, and so I believe in what happened. I never not believe that. But I would look back and say, oh, wow, this happened. So it was possible, and it's now happening, and I'm happy and fulfilled, and oh, yes, of course,
Wow.
And so it's the moving forward, with that in mind, with that past and that certainty, like, oh, yeah, I wanted this, and it is actually happening, and if I want more things, then they can happen. So, yes.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
experience is teaching me that yeah, it is possible to get what you need and to be happy and push forward with all that behind you.
For me, as I go about my day, and sometimes I ask questions, I guess, to point me in the direction of whatever it is that I'm seeking for that moment. And I get so many, like it's almost like signs pointing, go here, turn this way, like go down this street. How does that work for you? Like, how does your instincts work for you?
My instincts, they're kind of strange. Not even strange, just random. I don't make any plans. I don't make any sort of charts. I sort of stumble along in life, and then I happen to have certain people in my life that would sort of like nudge me away from something or nudge me towards something, and then it works. I don't even know if I have instincts necessarily, but I just do whatever I want, and then hope that that's what's supposed to happen.
I so feel you.
That sums it up.
I so feel you on that. Oh my God, you just laid it all out for me. I didn't really know what to call it. That's so cool. So you've been like out of the country, haven't you? Doing like what, promotions and talking about your books as well?
I have. I've only done a couple of places where I traveled to these places and actually had readings. My biggest one was I went to the UK 2011, and I did London and Birmingham, maybe somewhere else, I can't remember. And one of those readings is actually on my website.
Awesome.
And then I did a reading in Paris with a few other artists back in, I think, May of 2014. And yeah, so those are only two I've done so far. I'd love to do more, but so far that's all I've done.
So how would you describe your life?
How would I describe my life? You know, I'm a very non-reflective person. This is a very hard question for me to answer. I mean, the biggest answer there is my life is happy. Yeah, it's happy.
That's
I get
good.
up, I do my work that I love, and there's people in my life who love me and who I love in return. And I'm able to, once I get myself together, able to travel, which is one of my other huge passions. And for the most part, you know, I have my health, and I can eat. I love food. Oh my gosh, food is one of my favorite things in life. So as long as I have love and food and can travel and can write, which I have right now, I'm in heaven, and I love it. So that's my life right now.
Wow, that is awesome. That made me do a shake. I'm telling you, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Black love. That is so beautiful. What do you have coming up? What's going on in the future? What do you got going on that we need to know about?
Let's see. I have a reprint of Every Dark Desire coming out in April. It's going to come out with a new cover. And in September, at Lindsay Evans, I have a book coming out called An Affair of Pleasure. And then next year, this time, I have a new book coming out called Rise of the Rain Queen, which is the one I'm doing research for right now in Tanzania. So, and then I want to do a short story collection in September.
Wow.
A little bit of that, a little bit of this.
You know what? You did say like earlier that, you know, you're healthy and you kind of like, you know, just kind of go through life just kind of going with the flow. So do you think that has really attributed to, you know, your success?
I don't know, because, you know, I think I'm very lazy. And I feel like if I weren't so lazy, I would be much further along in my career than I am right now.
Oh my God, really?
I am. I mean, I won't bore you with the details, but let's just say that I could be doing way more.
Wow.
But I do think that my personality is pretty laid back.
Mhm.
And I do go with the flow a lot of times, but I also have a lot of Virgo friends in my life who have been able to steer me in the right direction, help me organize, or they actually organize things for me that can help me go with the flow, but still, end up in a place that's still positive.
Right. That's a team. That is a team. It's an awesome feeling to have a team. It really is.
Yes.
Wow.
They won't let me go off a cliff. They're just like, wait, the fence right there. Well, we'll be the fence for you, basically, so I don't just run off and just do something completely ridiculous and crazy.
Wow. That's just awesome when you think about the dedication of people towards another person. I can't even any words. That's amazing to me. It really is. It's amazing to have people just really checking for you and making sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do and helping you out throughout life. That is cool.
Exactly.
Because they know your
that.
gift. They know your gift. That is so cool. That is so cool. Wow.
Yes, I am so grateful for them. So grateful.
You, Sky, and Nikki Rashawn have a what is that? Is what story is that? Les Tales? You guys have that Les Tales book that's out now? Why don't you tell us?
It's a collection of 3 stories by each of us. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your story in the book.
My story in the book is called. What is it called? Honey and Absence. That was like 2 years ago. But
Was it?
I don't know. It just feels like it was so long ago, like 3 books ago, maybe 4.
Okay.
But I think it's called Honey and Absence, and it's a May-December story. A young woman, she's just left college in the last couple of years, and she's always been in love with her mother's best friend.
Wow.
And so she, at I think 23, decides something happened where she decides to go actually pursue her mother's best friend, and the story follows her pursuit and what happens after she catches the woman.
Wow. Wow. Let me ask you this before we kind of get out of here. I want to hear. Tell us what, or if anything, that you would like to share with us that is in one of your books that you may be able to call your own, or something that happened to you. How much of that is you, your friends, or whomever?
How much of me is in my writing?
Yes.
A lot of me is in the writing, actually. Most times it's very, very disguised. You can't really tell exactly what it is, but my writing, I use it as my therapy. So sometimes I'm not always the most sharing person. When I'm going through things, I don't necessarily share it. So, so my latest book, there's a character in there that has to deal with having cancer. And so I had cancer like 5 years ago. And so I was just dealing with that and dealing with it by writing about it.
Wow.
And that was, that's the book, Desire at Dawn.
Wow. How about, and I'm just going to say this while we are on the air, how about when you just said that, I just had a deja vu. This happened in a dream. Everything that you just said, oh my God, that is crazy. I've been having a lot of those lately. But I thank you for coming on our show. I really do. I appreciate your energy, the presence that's you. I enjoy you being you, and I look forward to seeing more of you. Thank you for coming on and talking with us today.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate your time and everything.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. We usually end our show with a quote. And I don't have one. Fiona?
For you, unfortunately. I have one in my head, but I can't think of exactly how it goes.
Do you want to try?
Sure. The author is Mann, and the quote is, and I'm mangling it completely. The quote goes, "We write in order to taste life twice."
And we're gonna leave it just like that. Why don't you, Fiona, tell us again where we can contact you, where we can get your books, where we can just reach out to you?
I am very searchable, Fiona Zedde, all over the internet. And you can reach me at f.zed@gmail.com, FionaZedde.com, Twitter at Fiona Zedde, Facebook at Fiona Zedde, Tumblr at Fiona Zedde, and I answer questions and everything. So just reach out to me and I'll respond.
Awesome. Well, you guys know that you can catch me everywhere at Kaiology. I want to thank Fiona Zedde again for being on the show and talking with us tonight. I appreciate your essence. Thank you for being you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. To our listeners, every Wednesday you're hanging out here with me at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and I thank you and I appreciate you. You could be doing anything, but you choose to spend this hour with me. I appreciate you, and I say to you, peace. This has been LGBT Radio Nation on UrbanNationRadio.com.